Hi everyone, it's Kim. Thanks for joining me. As we transition from the fall holidays into the winter holidays, I want to take a look at two of the products that Spellbinders is offering for 2024. One of them is the 12 Days of Stitchmas, and the other is the Advent Calendar. And we're not going to take a look at what's actually in the Advent Calendar. You can see I still have the cellophane on here. I am saving this to open starting December 1st. I have so much fun opening each day. But I went ahead and opened the 12 days of Stitchmas because those take a little longer to play with. So I wanted to get started on these now rather than later. And everything that we're going to look at has already been revealed by Spellbinders. So there's nothing that we're going to look at that isn't already out there. And for more ideas and great tips on putting together some of these dies, I encourage you to go check out what has been done on the Spellbinders blog. But there's 12 days in this, just like the Advent calendar. It works the same way, and you can open up each day and it shows you what the die is. And what's nice about this, it kind of gives you an idea of how to put together the pieces of the die, because most of them have quite a few pieces. I was amazed at how many pieces some of these die sets had. But I opened one each day, made it. On a few of them, I put together the card that same day. Most of them I just stitched and then put together later. So I want to show you what I did. And again, I had them stitched, so when I went to actually put them together, it didn't take me that long. So some of them, I just used what was in the die set, and these are in no particular order, so I'm not going from day 1 to day 12. We're just going to take a look at them here. This is one set. It had all of these pieces in there, so you can see there's multiple pieces. Now, if you don't stitch, you may say, well, this isn't for me. You can use these dies without ever stitching on them, or there's other things that we can do as well. So we'll take a look at some of those ideas. So, for example, the H on the middle hoe, this is made to be stitched, but I just left it open. And if you wanted, you could also just put a bunch of bling in there. So I blinged up the ornament a little bit on the edge. So really, it's up to you how you want to use these die sets. Stitching, not stitching, using them with bling. It's all up to you. So this one was just using the one die set. And then on the next one, I used part of the Ho 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 plus Santa. So I made two nice slimline cards, but you could use these in whatever size card base that you wanted. I particularly like this Santa. I love his beard. Now you can stitch these again any way you want. You can just do a basic stitch, so I could have just gone up and down. But I decided to kind of make an X pattern across his beard. And I didn't start out with Santa, so as I opened more and more of these, I started playing around a little bit with how I was going to stitch them. I love to do hand stitching, so for me, this is a lot of enjoyment. I know, again, not everybody is into the stitching. So here's another one. All these pieces were in one set. And on some of these, I did go out and pull some other pieces in, like the banner "'Tis the Season" is also from Spellbinders. But if I put so much time into this part of it, I usually finish it up with something simple. And I don't make a ton of these because I only send these to special people who are going to appreciate all of the stitching. But I could have done this without any of the stitching and just left it with the open holes or used some bling. So on the ornament here, I did do something a little different to go around the edge. Again, you can choose how much you want to do or how little you want to do. The other thing I found these great for are tags. I love to make tags because sometimes I go out more all out for a tag than I would for a card. So this is the ornament. The ornament was one by itself. And then I just used the pine branches from this set. So the tag was easy. Just pull out whatever tag you have. If you have double-sided paper, then it makes it really easy. I did have to cut a backside for all of these, which was not a big deal. And then this little hook, I'll show you where that is. That's from another die set because the ornament was just by itself. And then there is a tree, and this had some interesting pieces to it. There's a base tree with all of these holes, and then there's these individual pieces, and it's probably not easy to see, but each of these pieces is a second layer on top of this. So again, you have some options how you want to put these pieces together. The Merry Christmas sentiment is from the Better Press set. So I had a bunch of those ready to go. It was easy just to put that on top of my card front. So a nice variety. These are all the holiday dies. Unlike the Advent calendar is not holiday related. So my little penguin here, he was probably the first one I did. And I did add a few other things to him. I could have done him on his own, but I was in the mood to add some snowflakes. So the holiday cheer and clothes, that is a Better Press sentiment. And then this big snowflake, I had Tim's Vault series from this year ready to go. It's called Vault Winter Wishes. So I had an extra snowflake. I thought I'm going to add it to my penguin. And then these snowflakes come in the set here, in the Stitchmas set. So he was ready to go. And again, look at just that. That's very, very simple to do. So even if you're a beginner, there's plenty of YouTubes out there showing how to stitch if you've never done this before. Very, very simple. And if you are a stitcher, someone who loves to do handwork, then this will be very easy for you, and you'll kind of figure out how you like to either tie it off or glue it off in the back. I'm a gluer, not a knot maker on these. So here is my snowman. Again, very similar to how the belly of the penguin is done. And I did add a few extra pieces from Our House to Yours is another Better Press sentiment. I've used a lot of those just because I had them ready to go. And then for my holly leaves, that's just the outline die again from another one of Tim's Vault sets this year. This is the Vault Seasonal Sketch. So I thought, this is a big card. My little snowman needed a little more. And then these pieces here are from the Ho 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 set. So I did kind of mix and match among the individual die sets for Stitchmas. And then this one is actually two of the sets. So Warm Wishes is one die set for one day, and then the mittens are another die set for another day. But those went together so well, I decided I'm going to put them together. Again, on Warm Wishes, you can see on this one now, unlike the Ho Ho Ho, I did stitch in that. So you can kind of see the difference here if I do this. With or without, your choice. I could have left that open as well. And then some very simple stitching here on the mitten. And if you look at the samples on the Spellbinders blog or just out in YouTube land, you'll see some great ideas of what people have done with these dice sets. So another tag I have here, this was the wreath. And my guess is for the second layer, the bottom layer, is to put it underneath the first layer. But I offset it. I kind of like that look. It gave it a little more dimension. A really kind of a neat bow. This one is very simple. Lots of little stitches. I could do that one very quickly. And then the bell is just something that I added. I had all of Tim's Vault dies out, so that's why we were looking at so many of the Vault dies. The little bell there fit perfectly in that wreath. And that's the Vault Holiday Classic. And this one was perfect for a tag. So I have a nice little tag for someone for gifts. And then another tag to look at here is the star. And I want to show you a couple different things on this one. So let me pull out the other star. So this one is stitched. And then I used the poinsettia from the ornament one where we had the branches and the ornament. And on this one, there's several pieces. There's the base, and then each of these other little pieces that I actually stitched are a separate little die set. And then I added just a little bling, and a gift for you again is another Better Press sentiment. But let me show you on this one, couple different things. I'm going to show you this one first. It's all stitched. This gives you a better idea of all the different pieces. So I could stitch these pieces and then glue them onto the star background. Now, on almost all of these dies, and this is a great example, so I'll have a top piece, and it's basically the solid. So I have a solid background and then the die cut out background. So that helps line things up, and I added a little bling to that one. Now, let's say I don't stitch and I wanted to do something else. So here is one where I actually drew the stitch lines in. I just took a ruler and a fine tip pen and I drew the stitch lines in and then just added bling. And I wouldn't really even have to do those stitch lines at all. But that just gives you a totally different look. So whether you stitch it or just bling it up or draw in your lines, they all work. So don't think, oh, I don't stitch. I don't like to do handwork. This isn't a set for me. It has some beautiful, beautiful dies with it. And then this one I know I have shown before, but I want to pull it out again. This is the cardinal. And again, you can see there's quite a few pieces, and this mistletoe, I believe, that's what that is with the cardinal. And then the wreath set and everything else is from one of Tim Holtz's vault dies. And this is the vault festive wreath. The cardinal just fit in there so perfectly. I could not resist. And then warm and cozy wishes is again another better press sentiment. So there's really a lot of variety and variation in this set. But I want to show you one other thing that I have done. And I did this starting with the advent calendar, and then I added my Stitchmas. So I have a little notebook here. And this is one of the Elizabeth Craft. I'm not sure what size this is. This is a larger one of their journals. And what I was finding was I had all this stuff, but then I never knew from previous years what was in there. And I got tired of digging through. So this is what I did. I did the same thing with all of these. I cut out, and this is from 2022, their advent calendar from Spellbinders. And I just put the pieces together, and I just used scraps and kind of put them together. Didn't overthink it. But then I thought, I'm going to put them in this book so that I can look through here, because I have some really neat sentiments and die cut images, but I could never remember what was in there. So this is a handy way for me to flip through here really quick, and then I can go back and use these. So in the advent calendar, in addition to dies, there's stencils, stamps, and embossing folders. So this way I can have a quick look at my collection. There's also some sequins. So this is last year's 2023 advent. And I did the same thing where I can now go back through and really pick out, oh, I want to use this. I forgot about that. And actually use everything that was in that advent set. And then this is this year's Stitchmas. I have to go back and do last year's Stitchmas and add it in. But this gives you a good idea of what was all in each set. This one has quite a few pieces because in addition to like the ornament, there's just the solid circle for the background there, for a background circle. Same thing with the leaf. But this will give you a great overview of what is in that set. Here's the tree, and I didn't cut out one of these for each one, but here you can see how here's the solid base, then the next layer with all the holes, and then there's dies for this other top layer, and then there's this little ball piece, which is meant to, I had to look this one up because I had no idea. It's meant to hold this topper on, but I used the bottom of it as the base of the tree. It's a little tiny base, but at least I have a little base of a tree. So again, I'm thinking, oh, I could even maybe flip that around and make it an ornament for the tree. But that gives you an overview of what is in the 2024 Stitchmas kit. I'm anxious to open up the Advent too, but that one's going to wait until December 1st. In the meantime, I have plenty of dies that I can stitch or not stitch, bling up, do whatever I want. and make some special cards for some special recipients. So I hope that gives you some ideas if you're in the mood to start your holiday cards. And I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again in a future video.